Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers of IBN TV. I am Sajina Hassnali, and today we have for you a very special dessert show. We're going to be making chocolate souffle, and our cook for today is Sister Sanjida Rashid. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
So, what are you going to be making today?
I have planned a chocolate dessert.
Okay.
It's called chocolate souffle.
Yeah.
It's especially for those chocolate lovers.
Okay. And what inspired you to start making desserts?
It all started with my brother because he loves desserts. So he kept pushing me, make this and make that. And so I just started off and I got interested. So
yeah, we've heard a lot of good things about you, that you make your desserts very well.
Thank you.
So is this a hard dessert to make, or do you think any new person who doesn't know how to cook can start making these desserts?
Any new person can, because it's very simple.
Okay.
There's very few ingredients and the process is not too long too.
Okay.
And yeah, anyone can make it.
Okay, so we look forward to learning from you today.
Okay, so now we go to the kitchen where I'll show you how to make the dessert.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to my kitchen. This is where I'm going to show you how to make the dessert. I'm going to start with showing you the ingredients. So there is half cup sugar. There is 8 ounces of butter unsalted. There is half cup of flour. 250 grams or 8 ounces of chocolate. It's cooking chocolate. And then 4 egg yolks, 4 whole eggs, and a few stuff for decoration.
So Sanjida, one thing I noticed is that your sugar is grounded. Is that better, or can you use normal sugar as well?
You can use normal sugar, but then that would be faster.
It would be faster
it
to
has
mix?
the same sweetness, and so there's no difference if you use that or this.
Okay. And you said this is cooking chocolate,
Yeah,
not
cooking chocolate.
not cocoa.
No, not cocoa.
Okay, all right.
I have just I've
shredded.
shredded the chocolate because it's easier for it to melt this way instead of using the whole block. But you can get those blocks of cooking chocolate anywhere in town, in any supermarket.
Okay.
Okay, so the first thing that you're supposed to do is you have your cake mold. Okay, this is where I'm going to make the cake. So what you do is you use olive oil if you're taking care. Or if not, you can use any oil, butter. You grease it around on the molds. After that, you use flour and you sprinkle it all over the sides, and you're supposed to refrigerate this for a while, like at least half an hour, so it should be cold. So this is the first thing you should be doing. Okay, after this step is the melting of the chocolate and butter. So I'm going to switch on the stove. The water should be boiling. When it's boiling, it's hot. What I'm going to do is make a double boiler. This is how you always should melt your chocolate, otherwise it gets burnt very easily. Give me that first.
So how long does it take to melt everything?
It depends, because first you need to see if the water is boiling too much. You need to reduce the heat for the water to just simmer, because chocolate melts really fast and so it can get burnt.
Right, okay.
Okay?
And then you can show us maybe the consistency
Yeah.
of how much it should be melted, if it should be more watery.
What you need to do when doing this is stir the mixture so it evenly melts, and it's easier. Like if you keep on stirring the mixture, the chocolate and the butter melts easily.
So don't just leave it to
don't
melt.
just leave it.
Always keep stirring.
Or it can get burnt too. So, and the important thing is the double boiler, which is very important too.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reduce the heat.
So you have to make sure there's no lumps of the chocolate left, yeah?
Yeah.
It has to be completely melted.
Completely melted, yeah. Now the advantage of grinding the chocolate is it melts much easily compared to using a whole lump.
Okay.
Yeah. The good thing about this syrup is like I'm going to use most of it in making the cake, but you can always take out some for your decoration or for, you know, serving on the top.
And I'm sure you can also use this this mixture, this syrup in other desserts as well.
Yeah, you can. All you need to do is store it in an airtight container and refrigerate it.
Yes, it would look nice on like a topping on an ice cream or something like that. Would it work like that?
Yeah, it can, yeah. Okay, so my chocolate has melted.
Okay.
Now once the chocolate melts, you're not supposed to let the flame be on, otherwise your chocolate can burn very easily.
Okay.
So once you think that it's melted, you can remove it from the stove.
And it won't like dry up straight away or anything?
No, it won't, because it's still hot. So after this step, you need to let it cool down for a little bit. Okay. Now our chocolate is done.
Okay.
You'll get a consistency something like this.
Okay.
Okay. Now after this step, we'll start beating our eggs with the sugar. So what you need to do is you take your 4 egg yolks and your 4 eggs.
So 4 egg yolks.
Yeah, 4 egg yolks and the 4 whole eggs.
Okay.
No. So that's my first whole egg, and in that way you add your 4. Okay, so we have all our eggs.
Okay. So you put the 4 egg yolks and you put 4 whole eggs.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I'd add my sugar, which is around ½ cup. Okay, now I'm going to blend this mixture using an electric mixture. And what you're supposed to do is blend until the mixture turns pale and it reaches its stiff peak. I'll show you how and what I mean. You can also use your stand mixers here instead of using your hand mixers, whatever is convenient for you.
Okay, so Sanjida, can you explain to us what the process is when you're mixing all this? How does it have to become? If you can show the viewers the color.
Yeah, like eggs, you know, they are yellow when you start with, and now you'll see that the whole mixture is turned white from creamish, and you've also seen that the amount that was almost like quarter has turned into like half more, like. So it's increased, the amount has increased, the color has changed, the consistency has also changed. It's become foamy, and it's a little stiff compared to how you see normal eggs. Yeah. So you can see how the consistency is. Okay, now after this step, you have to add the chocolate. But for adding the chocolate, you need to make sure that your chocolate's cool. If it's not, this consistency of the egg mixture will
decrease.
Yeah, will fall. Now you want this consistency to remain so that it stays as a batter. So you need to make sure your chocolate is cool. And in order to cool, you can to make it faster. In the same pot, you can add some cold water and place your bowl on top so that your chocolate cools faster. Before that, you need to switch on your oven for it to become hot, start heating up. So the degrees that you use is 180 degrees. And I've already switched it on. So as soon as you're melting the chocolate, I suggest you go and switch it on So by the time you're done with this mixture, your oven's already hot for placing the cakes. Okay, so this is the consistency of the mixture that we beated of the eggs and sugar. It should be fluffy, increase twice the amount that was before. And you see the color has also changed. It was yellow before, like creamish, and now it's white. You can see like a foamy consistency, so that's what we need. Okay, our chocolate is already cooled now, as we can see. And this is the consistency we need. Now what I'm going to do next is I'm going to mix the chocolate and this egg mixture and fold it. You're not going to mix it because if you mix it, the foamy consistency of this mixture will fall. Like it won't. I want it to stay the same way.
And earlier you were telling us that this cake is different. We can see like the consistency of this is different.
Yeah.
You're using different things. Why is that?
It's also because you're not using any baking powder for this cake, which is something very different because normally in every cake that you bake, you always put baking powder. For this, it'll rise on itself because of the eggs, and so there's no need of using baking powder. You can also see that the amount of sugar and flour that I said in the beginning is very less.
Okay.
So this cake is like...
It's more fluffy,
yeah, it's more fluffy
than pound cake.
Yeah.
Okay. And how much do you put you put all of it?
It depends actually because now it's chocolate, so I'd add some and then I'd mix the mixture and see the color. I want it to be a little chocolatey. The thing is that when you make this, sometimes you'll have too much. So you can put it in a container and refrigerate it and use it for later on, like for your decorations, for ice creams, other desserts, even for the same dessert for the top, you can use the same chocolate. When you refrigerate it, you'd see that the consistency is even going to change. So you can use it for many other purposes. So I'm not going to add everything at once right now. I'm going to mix half of it and then see later.
Okay. So she's going to show you how she's mixing it. It's not a mixing move. You said it's folding?
It's folding, yeah.
Okay.
With this step, you have to be very patient. It might take a while. Can you see the consistency is still the same? It hasn't changed. Now if you mix it, the bubbles that are present in this mixture will all like collapse and the mixture will also fall. Okay, so now we can see I have put in all my chocolate mixture into this mixture and mixed it. So you can see the consistency now. It's going to drop a little bit because after mixing the bubbles are going to break and stuff. And then this is the consistency that you'll get, and the color, it should be chocolatey. Now after this step, we're going to add the flour, which is half a cup of flour.
So this is right at the end after you've beat everything, you've mixed the chocolate. Okay.
The amount of flour that we use is very little because we want this to remain the way it is.
Okay. I can't wait to taste it.
Yeah, after you mix the flour, you'll see that it becomes a little heavier.
Keep mixing, right?
You need to make sure all the lumps of flour are equally mixed and like there's nothing left.
And you've preheated your oven as well?
Yes, I have, and it's already hot. Okay, after this step, I'm just going to add a little bit of vanilla because we're using so much of egg, so there's a possibility that the egg smell remains. So this will give a really good smell to your cakes.
And how much do you put? As
just about 1 cup.
1 cup.
1 cup. Okay, you need to make sure you don't mix the mixture too much, otherwise it'll really fall a lot. Okay, now our mixture is ready. Now we remember that we placed our mold into the fridge, so we're going to remove that, which has the flour on top, and we're going to put in our batter. Now the batter is just supposed to be 3/4 full. Otherwise, when your cake rises, it's going to drop. We don't want that. So this is our mold, in which I've already placed the butter. I used butter and some flour.
And you said, you know, if you're watching your weight, you can use olive oil and you can use light butter. Okay.
Anything can be used. Even for melting the chocolate, like we said, we're using butter, which is a lot of fat.
Okay.
So if you don't want to use that, you can use light butter.
Light butter or like low-fat chocolate.
Yeah, exactly.
So I can see that you're using the spoon, right? It's easier. You're going to use the spoon to pour the mixture.
It is easier, and if you have those ice cream scoops, it's like much easier with that.
And so how much did you say it is?
3/4 full.
3/4 full.
Yeah.
So you can let it rise.
Yeah.
And so the inside is going to be all melted.
Yeah, it's
because
going
of
to
the
be
texture.
all chocolatey. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how much you need to fill it.
Okay.
So I'm going to do that with all our molds. And just in case, for example, you're making this in the morning and your guests arrive like around night or evening, you can refrigerate your batter because this dessert is supposed to be had hot. So when you refrigerate it, you'd see that a little of your consistency will change, which is good. You'll see your cakes turn out better if you refrigerate it first and then bake it.
Okay. So you can store this. You can refrigerate this mixture, and then because you want to have it hot.
Yeah.
So don't cook it and then keep it.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
You need to bake it and give it to the people to have it right then.
Okay.
The good thing also is if you want to keep it for a long period of time, for example, if this batter is too much for using at one go, you can refrigerate it first in an open container. After like a few hours, you place it in a closed one and you refrigerate it in the deep freeze or even normal fridge, anything. One thing my mom always emphasizes is cleanliness. So once you're done using it, you have to make sure you clean the sides, your table. You need to make sure that you clean everything, you put it aside instead of leaving your kitchen dirty.
So clean as you go instead of waiting at the end and then...
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so that's how your mold will look. It'll have like 3/4 full. Now if your oven is hot, all you need to do is place it inside. You have to it'll cook in about like say 5 to 10 minutes, not more. Sometimes it can take more.
Depending on your
exactly.
oven.
Now
Okay.
what you need to see is when it's baking, there should be a thin crust that should be formed on top, and when you hold your cake on the bottom or from the middle, it should have a soft, like really soft, spongy like consistency, like you'd feel it in your hand. So I'm going to place this in the oven now. And you're going to note the time. So you have to keep on checking for the cake. Make sure you don't open your oven, otherwise your cake would fall. So you need to wait till the end.
Okay. So while the cake is cooking or is baking, let me ask you a little bit about yourself.
Sure.
You live in Dar es Salaam?
Yes, I do. I live here.
And do you go to university?
Yes, I do.
What university do you go to?
Mimbili University of Health and Allied Sciences.
And what do you study?
I study pharmacy. I'm doing a bachelor's, and I'm in my second year, almost finishing.
And how is that going for you?
It's tough. I find cooking much more interesting. There was this one time when I told my mom I'd rather leave studying and start cooking, but then cooking is not that easy too. You just need a little interest. Like I love cooking desserts, not main dishes too much. Okay. So everyone has their own interest.
Yeah, definitely. And we wish you the success in your degree, inshallah.
Thank you so much.
And we hope you make your parents proud.
Thank you.
Okay. So we're going to wait for the cake to bake, and then once it's ready, we'll come back and we'll show it to you.
To show you a little bit on how to design your plate, like presentation.
Yeah.
So if you've made a dessert and like if you think it looked too plain on like a plain plate, so this is something you can do. It's very easy. I have 3 types of sauces. That's chocolate, strawberry, and this is condensed milk. So I'm going to show you a design.
So what kind of syrup is this? Is it the same one you used?
No, it's not. It's those Hershey's chocolate
Hershey's
syrup.
chocolate.
The thing about that syrup is it's too light in consistency. So what I did with this is I added a little cocoa because it's chocolate.
Okay.
Or you can add a little corn flour like what I did for the strawberry syrup. Okay. The thing about these syrups is not the taste exactly, but it's how it looks. Okay?
So even if you're having people over, like new guests coming, or at a wedding, if you have small platters, you can do a little bit of decoration on the side.
Exactly.
So today Sanjida is going to show us, I think, 1 or 2. We'll see how much time we have. And then when you join us for the next episode, the next dessert special with Sanjida Rashid, she's going to show us a few more designs. So you usually refrigerate this, right?
Yes, I do.
In the freezer or?
In the fridge.
In the fridge, yeah. Normal fridge, okay. Okay.
Okay, so I just put a line of the chocolate syrup and then I'd follow with the condensed milk.
Okay.
And then the strawberry.
Okay. And this is trial and error, so if you make a few mistakes, you can just wipe it out with the tissue or whatever you have on the side.
Okay, then you take a stick, a normal stick.
Or a toothpick?
Yeah, or a toothpick, a bamboo stick. So what you're supposed to do with this is take the tip, and it's very simple. What I'm going to do is just draw lines. So I'm going to go that way, this way, and you have your design. This is a little rough. But what you can do is make it a little more perfect. Your syrups should be a little cold because as mine have already cooled down, you can see that it's already melting.
Okay.
Okay.
So it's good to have stiff syrup so it'll stay nicely. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
that looks really nice.
That's one? Just one simple one.
Okay.
And then we have another one. Now what I've done is put 2 layers, a chocolate and the condensed milk. I've put pink dots on top of the condensed milk, and I'm putting condensed milk dots on the chocolate.
Okay. And you can play around with this, you know, if you have different colors of sauces, then you can just add them on the side.
Okay, then you take your bamboo stick, and for the condensed milk you go on one side. So I'm just going to take my stick and go around it.
So it looks like a leaf pattern.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Okay, and then after you do that, you move the other one the opposite side. So you get another pattern. Now you normally do this for like a big dessert and you do it on the side. I'm just showing you a little bit on the side, and because my condensed milk is too watery now because it's been outside for too long, so you can see it's spreading too much. Okay, now our cakes are ready, so I'm going to remove them. Okay, so this is how your cakes will look. They look a little like hard on the upper side, but when you remove it, you'll see it's really soft on the inside.
Okay, so now Sanjida is removing the cakes. You can see she's going to take a knife, right? And then put it on the side, because the cakes are very sensitive because they're watery in the inside.
And then you take a spoon, place it inside and take out your cake. So this is how your cake should look.
Okay.
Okay? So you place it. Okay, I've already removed the other one, so I'm just going to place it.
Okay.
Okay, and you can do it for the rest. Now I have this whipped cream, so I'm just gonna like design my plate with it.
Okay. Do we want to show them the inside of the cake?
Yes,
maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, so do you want to take one out here? Okay, so Sanjida has cut the cake, so we're going to see how it looks on the inside. As you can see, it's very watery on the inside, and it's wet and it's not dry.
So this is how the cake should actually look. Now if you want to decorate this too, you could just add some more whipped cream on top.
And whipped cream always tastes good with chocolate, so
you can do any design you want, any.
Okay.
And then I have a few chocolate sprinkles, so you could just add them on your cake. And yeah, done.
And it's ready to go.
Okay, so something extra that you can do after you've placed your cake is, first we have a little of chocolate syrup. This syrup can be, you can take some from the one that you melted. So I'm just going to take some and pour it on top. Now what you can do with this cake is, after you've made it, and even if it's like cooled down a little bit, you just place it in the microwave for like 10-20 seconds maximum. and you'll see that it's hot. The syrup will also become hot, so the taste is much better. Then you take chocolate sprinkles, like I've grated some chocolate. Can be anything, dairy milk, flake, anything, and then just sprinkle on top of your cake. And you're ready for serving your dessert.
So we're going to taste the cake now and see what it tastes like. It has a very creamy texture in the middle, but it's crusty on the outside. It's really good. And I'm sure all of us here at IBN are going to enjoy it very much. So this is Sanjida Rashid, I'm Sakina Hassnali, and thank you for watching.